Hi guys, welcome back to the next part of the series. Today we're going to continue with the modeling of the hammer, which is this final part that we have right here. Now, we already had something similar on the blocking, but if you remember, we actually used it to generate this element right here. Or was it this one? No, we deleted it. So we're going to have to start over, and I want to capture the silhouette of this thing a little bit closer to what we had before we go into sculpting. You can also see that we do have some heavy damages on some of these parts. I think some of those, it's going to be a good idea to use booleans, similar to what we did with the axe. But some of the other ones we're definitely going to be sculpting by hand. So Shift A, well, here's a quick trick. Let's press Shift and right click to bring our 3D cursor up here. And then Shift A and Mesh and Cube. Why? So the cube is right there on the area where we're going to be working with this thing. S and Z to push this up and generate the rough size of the hammer. Again, if I take a look at this, I can see that mine is a little bit thin. So S and Y just to make it a little bit thicker. And I think that's going to be the attachment point. Now, of course, if we go to top view, you're going to see that this is not centered. That's fine. That's because the 3D cursor was not centered. But we can very easily just turn on our increment and absolute grid snap to get this into position. There we go. Now we need to define how thick this is going to be. And based again on the concept itself over here, you can see that it is quite thick. Like see the distance that we have from the stone all the way to the border of the element. So I think this is good. The one thing that I'm seeing is that the stone, we have like a sort of like a taper on the stone, and we need to modify that because here it looks very, very straight. So I do think the distance or the thickness of this hammer is fine. Maybe just a little bit more. And that's pretty much it. Now, one of the things about this hammer, as you can see, is that it has a sort of it's not perfectly flat on the side. So I'm going to go to side view right here. And if we take a look at the concept, which we have on the background, of course, let me turn off this elements right here. There we go. There we go. So we're only working with this and the performance is a little bit better. So if we take a look at the handle here, you're going to see that right at this stage, it goes really close to the center. So I'm going to go to edit mode on this guy. Let's first go to solid mode, grab this guy, there we go, edit mode. Let's go to side view again, and we're going to add a loop cut right around here. Let's turn off the absolute grid snap. Yep, that's about right. So that's pretty much the only change, because these things that we see right here, that's more of the silhouette sort of thing, like changing the way this thing looks. So I'm going to go to vertex mode, I'm going to go W, grab this guy, G and Y, to push this in. And again, I'm going to have to guesstimate a little bit how much this thing is going to go in. I think something like that is perfectly fine. Now you can see that this part right here is beveled. So I'm going to go to edge mode now. Hey, I thought I had hidden you guys. There we go. I'm going to go to edge mode now, grab this guy right here, and we're going to do a bevel. Normally, I wouldn't do bevels on things that would generate like angons. This phase right here and this phase right here is an angon. But since I know that we're going to be going into the, what's the word? We're going to be going into the sculpting section, I know that this bevel is going to be perfectly fine. Again, let's go to Z mode. And as you can see, that one right there, we can move it a little bit lower, like even if it's like slightly asymmetrical. Same thing on the top part, that one, we definitely need a little bit of a bevel. And if we take a look at the concept, that's looking good. Now, I'm actually going to bevel the whole thing. So I'm going to go to solid again, add a modifier. Well, let's first control A. Let's apply all transforms. And now I'm going to add a modifier, which is going to be a bevel modifier. And again, I'm not sure why my screen caps are not working. Sorry about this, guys. The screen caps actually have been deprecated for a couple of versions now. They did mention that it was possible that they would not work on 3.5. So I apologize if you're not seeing all of the screen caps. I'm trying to make sure that we do see them, but I'm not sure what it is. We were seeing them in sculpting, yeah. It's really weird. Now we're seeing it in sculpting and not in modeling. What is it? It's just the window. There we go. Okay. They're a little bit to the side, but now at least we're seeing them on both ways. Okay, cool. So yeah, here we have the a little bit of bevel. This is going to help me with the sculpting later on. And now I'm just going to apply this. And now we can do the big elements. Now this element right here is another very good option to not have symmetry. Okay, so this hammer right here is going to be asymmetrical, which again is going to help us balance the fact that we have a very symmetrical volcano and blade. The hammer is going to be non-symmetrical. All of the armor pieces are going to be symmetrical again, but as we mentioned before, by switching which things are symmetrical or not symmetrical, we can get away with symmetry and hide it a little bit better. So I'm probably going to be like heavily hitting this part of the hammer right here, but as you can see, there's two very, very intense effects right there. So I'm going to press Shift A to create another cube. Let's scale this cube back. I'm going to rotate this in Y so that it's 45 degrees right there. And then I am just going to bring this right around here. I'm going to show you a trick for booleans. This is very, very cool. So pay close attention. First, I'm going to go to this face right here, and I'm going to scale it with Shift so to have a little bit more control. Scale. There we go. And I'm also gonna like grab this, push this in Y to make it longer. There we go. And what we can actually do is I can grab that face M and collapse so that it's now a triangle. Not bad, right? So now we're gonna grab this guy, add a modifier, and we're gonna use a Boolean modifier as well. And of course, the object that we're gonna be using for Boolean is this guy right here. We're gonna get it right here. Now, the problem with booleans is that sometimes the shape that we're trying to use, it's actually making it difficult to see what's happening. Well, you can actually grab your shape, and if you go to the transform options right here, you can go to viewport display, and all the way down here, change display texture as a wire. So that's going to be the wireframe, and as you can see now, it's a lot easier to see what the boolean operation is doing. This reminds me a lot of like the live booleans that we normally see inside of ZBrush, and that way I can control, again, for instance, S and X, I can control the thickness of the boolean right there. So not bad, right? Now I'm gonna duplicate this guy and move it down. The other one is still here. Okay, by the way, actually, did I not duplicate it? Shift D, there we go. And eventually we're gonna have to combine them, right? So that one's a very long one, so I'm gonna push this in to create a very, very heavy like hit right there. And then this one, it's not going to be as heavy, so I'm going to keep it right around there. You can actually add multiple Boolean modifiers. So if I add another Boolean modifier right here, I can select the new object, which is going to be this cube 2. And as you can see, that's going to allow me to also see this Boolean and keep it independent from the other one. We do want to keep the halfway point there so that we are not getting like any weird borders or anything. There we go. Another option that I honestly like to do, and this is what I'm about to do right now, is I'm just going to control J both of them. As you can see, this cube is still reading one Boolean from cube 2, so it's working. But let me eliminate that one for just a second. Bring these guys back to the visibility of just like texture or solid. And then I'm going to Shift D. Let me grab all of the link faces of one and delete. There we go. And now this one, as you can see, there's another like big one right around here. So it's a little bit below the cut line. And then we don't have the information from the other side, but I would expect there to be some sort of damage on the other side as well. So I'm gonna do one right here. Again, push this out so that the middle point is right around there. And let's do a small one right here on the top. There we go. So now we can grab all of this 5 pieces with Shift, Control J, Control J. There we go. Control A, let's freeze all transforms. Go back to this one, modifiers, add a modifier, Boolean modifier, and grab this cones right here. We can grab the cones, go back to the transform display, and change this to wire so that we can see how they're actually like creating that nice cut, very, very nice sharp cut into our object. So once we're happy with that, we can just grab this object and do an apply. These cones, we actually don't need them anymore. And then this guy, if we jump into the sculpting section, oh, there we go. We are of course going to be activating our resolution. Let's start with a low resolution, something like 0.01, and Control R. Now, we definitely need more. So let's go 0.04, Control R, because we want to have very clean lines to start with, maybe even a little bit more. So I'm going to go 0.2. There we go. That's a lot better. So that's it. Now we have all of the model ready. The modeling of this hammer is ready, and we can go into sculpting this very, very nice element so that we can get our final like high poly element ready. So that's it for this one, my friends. I'll see you back on the next one. We'll continue working on this hammer. Or almost done with this high poly. Make sure to get to this point. Don't jump ahead. Do it. You need to do the job. There's a very interesting thing that happens with the brain where you see a tutorial and you think you already know how to do it, but you don't. Your brain is tricking you and you actually need to do the work, okay? So make sure to get to this point, and I'll see you back on the next video.